There we go. Good morning. Good morning. A beautiful Sunday morning. Soul Hoya is in the building. I say this each and every episode. Um, these shows mean so much to us because it's bigger than basketball, and I think this show is indicative of that. I just want to invite Wendy Wilkes, SFS class of '91. Willie Tate, not William, Willie Tate, Willie D. Tate, class of '94, and then of course my esteemed co-host Markham Stansbury, class of '91, and just a few housekeeping measures, and we're gonna dive right in because this is a meaty show for me, and I can't thank our two guests enough for being here. Um, we had an error in our post in our flyer. We incorrectly misspelled Wendy's last name, and I do want to apologize for that. My co-host is a stickler for that. He is Markham Stansbury Jr. for a reason. So yeah, I just want to get the housekeeping out the way. And before I forget, I want to give a big shout out to the class of '91. Just in connecting with Wendy and Willie, even though Willie's '94, the class of '91, I think that'll come out in this episode. The class of '91 is in and of itself almost a revolutionary class. So I just want to get that out the way. And Markham, of course, is '91 as well. And with that, Markham will dive in and get us started.
Well, before we start, I guess how I want to start today is with a quote. I've been doing it at the end, and for people who like the quotes at the end, hang around. I might have another one. It just depends on what happens. But this is a Yoruba proverb. When the door is closed, you must learn to slide across the crack of the sill. When the door is closed, you must learn to slide across the crack of the sill. And with that, start off with our question we ask everybody. This is for both of you. How did you end up at Georgetown?
Well, since I'm older, I'll start.
I'm the oldest one here, so I should start everything.
Yeah, Grandpa, that's you. But how I wound up at Georgetown, I think it was just destined. As a child, I've always been interested in government, how government works, just the whole vibe of DC. I tell a story to people. I was in 8th grade. My parents had a friend that lived in the DC area. And I'm like, I want to go to DC, buy me a train ticket. And if you know me, you know that is fact. So they relented, bought me a train ticket. I came to DC by myself. Their friend picked me up. She's now deceased, rest in peace. And showed me around DC. And from that moment, I knew I had to be here. And then being interested in government and how it works, Georgetown was on the top of the list. So that's how I wound up at Georgetown.
Mr. Tate.
Make sure I get myself off mute here. So for me, it's I think it's the age-old story. Georgetown was always super familiar to me with growing up in the 80s and 70s and 80s, and seeing the basketball team, understanding when I went to a boarding school up in Massachusetts. I went to Andover, and that's where I met. I'm from Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi. But up at Andover, met plenty of great friends, lifelong friends. But your boy Bruce Hamilton was there, and Bruce came to Georgetown, like several students. I mean, great school, and so that's where I learned it was more than just basketball, more than just hoops, but that it was an outstanding school. And so that certainly started the path as I started looking at schools. and came down for Black Student Arts Weekend. Got to hang out with Bruce and his roommate at that time, of course, Malcolm Lee. So I think you could say the rest is history at that point, because there was nowhere else I wanted to be.
From Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
And declined to go to Murrah High School.
I did. As a matter of fact, it would have been Jim Hill, because that's where my parents went. Yeah.
Oh. So
Yeah, and I would like to follow up with that. I would be remiss if I did not mention Black Student Weekend, Black Acceptance Student Weekend. Yeah, that's the foam on the beer. That's everything. Yes.
Willie, did you know Othello growing up by any chance? Othello Harrington?
So I didn't know him growing up, but again, we're same class. I mean, it was one of those. It's like, man, it's crazy that we showed up. But again, we came. I went to high school up in Massachusetts, and then we met down here. And there were actually, I think there were three of us. Arthur Anthony was also from Jackson. He didn't play basketball, but the fact there are three Black boys from Jackson, Mississippi, at Georgetown. I mean, it was unbelievable. And then Othello just stood out over. I think if Art stood on my shoulders, we still wouldn't be as tall as Othello. But yes.
Nice.
So for me, for Grandpa here, what this brings about is when we talk about Jackson, Mississippi, and then we talk about all the players that have come from Mississippi, all the players that have come from New Orleans, all the players that have come from Texas. Those stories, we want to bring those about, we want to share, because it's a unique and special experience. And, again, Hoya Locker Room started out as something, and now it's morphing into this. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, going forward, we hope to be more connected and aligned with what Soul Hoya is doing. And that leads me to the question for Wendy. What made you start, or what was the group like that initiated Soul Hoya? Where did that momentum come from? Because I'd love to hear the story.
Okay, I just have to say, I did not do this by myself at all. In 2009, there were a group of three of us, Lisa Nicole Young, Keith Dent, and myself, 92, 89, and 91, who got together and was discussing, we crashed the 89 reunion and thought that it would be great, to do something every reunion to get Black alum back engaged with each other first, and then with the university second. Soul Hoyas are a family, period. This is the group where you come and visit your people, you talk to your people. We don't care what you do as a job. We don't care what kind of situations that you're in. All we care about is you as a person, and to let you know that we are family and we support each other and we move like family. So in the 13 years that Soul Hoyas have existed, we have grown exponentially. Our Keith is still involved, Lisa not so much, and he and I have just been, I'm just a front person, because I don't want anybody to think it's just all me, because it's not, but we keep this vibe alive, and we're going to keep it alive, hopefully into perpetuity.
Excellent. So there's a rumor out that Mr. Tate has been to every Soul Hoya.
That's not a rumor, that's a fact.
So my question is, what happens during Soul Hoya weekend? And Mr. Tate, why do you keep coming back? I mean, it has to be something pulling you to keep the repeat performance going.
Indeed. Well, number one, certainly Wendy and crew. And again, I start with Wendy because she's the face, if she wants to call it that. This is a family, but she's also part of that soul. I mean, her passion, all those things just kind of, because she'll call and say, hey, Willie, I need you to do this at the weekend too. So therefore, hey, now I'm on call. That's one. But
Right.
the other piece, the other piece though is just, I mean, it is love. You come back, you're connecting with multi years of Black Hoyas. Everyone's doing whatever it is. It's amazing because number one, you finished Georgetown, and number two, and there are some that may not have finished Georgetown in the 4-year period. It doesn't matter. I mean, the fact you're still there. I mean, and so we know what it takes to get through this university. And so you're connecting with people. You're doing business deals. You're checking in on people's personal lives, like Wendy said, because we do care about one another, and it's been great. I mean, again, quote unquote, you meet up with some of the old heads. And their struggle was similar to our struggle, and even more importantly, we're really getting to connect with these young folks that have no idea how good they have it versus some of the things we did, whether it was in the administration, whether it was on the basketball court, whatever, to make life better on the hilltop. So that's why I come back.
So I couldn't wait to jump in. I couldn't wait to take myself off mute because what Willie touched on is, for me, like, you get on campus and, automatically when you see another brother, you see a sister, you do the nod or you acknowledge. But, for when you're hooping, it becomes, you got that we all have cliques or fraternities or people that we hang out with all the time, once we got to school. I mean, whether it was classes you took, your majors, you have your insular groups, right? Your own groups. The fact that Soul Hoya wasn't around, or if there were any groups, I wasn't a part of those groups. And I'm going back to the 80s. And, this bug I have now to be a part of Black Hoyas is something I'm intentional about. And, I want Hoya Locker Room to be an extension of that. So again, having you two on to talk about Soul Hoyas is important from that aspect for me, because you touched on it, Willie. The youngins may be experiencing the exact same things, although it may be with 2022 or 2023 flavor, but it's things that we can share, things that we can bond over, and it's important, and it's meaningful. So I just wanted to jump in because when you're hooping, you're locked in on the hoop and you're locked in on the school because you're trying to graduate, right. But it should be a natural, organic flow, and that's what I hope to promote. Like, this isn't something that we should have to think about. This isn't something that we have to be woke about, right? Like, and I hate to throw that term in there, but I just want to make sure that anyone that's listening, this isn't about being woke. This is about this. This should be normal. This should be natural. So the OG just wanted to chime in on that, because again, the fact that I've never been to a Soul Hoya event, and this dude has been to every one, I'm jealous. I'm low key hating. And I just remember the time, and Wendy and I had an opportunity to chop it up last night, and she made me remember a time that we had met at an event, and I should be at those events. I want to be at those events. I want to contribute, as all Black alumni should, because it's our joint as well.
Yeah, and that's the reason, that was the catalyst for us in the beginning. That, and our first shirts were kind of rebellious. People didn't like them because they said, "We are Georgetown too." So it pointed out that we saw ourselves not as a part of the whole of a Hoya, but a little segment. So after much discussion and much work, we are Hoyas. We are Georgetown just as much as anybody else is Georgetown. And with that being said, we're going to talk about the Black Alumni Council in a little bit. But Jean, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about not having participated, because now begins that process. And that's for anybody out there. The past is the past. Yesterday is over. We deal with today. We don't even deal with tomorrow. So the strides that you're trying to make are appreciated, and we will do anything to help you, meet the goals that you have for Hoya Locker Room, for personal or whatever. And there's something that I've stolen from Georgetown, and I use it all the time. Julie loves it. Is that, we have time, talents, and treasures. You don't have to give all of them, but we have these things. Right now, you're given talent. Some people have money to give treasure, and I give time. So all of these things matter. So moving forward.
I would definitely echo everything Wendy said there. And that's the other thing. We know how to party, and believe you me, we don't leave the weekend without a party. So anyone coming or thinking about it, there will be a party. But no, there is community service, there is the social, there is the opportunity to raise money for these students and to give directly to students. I mean, this is something, above and beyond what the university normally asks of alumni. But we're used to this. We're doing it for our own, which is big. Whether it's our own students that are about to become alumni, or if it's out in the community in the different community service projects that we do. So yeah, all of that is, again, just kind of goes back to that original answer. Why do I keep coming back? Because I can get in where I can fit in. I mean,
Right.
We're all busy.
And that's what the OG is trying to do. I'm trying to get in where I fit in. I'm not trying. Listen, I'm not trying to upset the apple cart. I'm not trying to pay any outstanding debts. I just know we have stories to tell. We have stories to share, which just makes us better, just makes us more whole.
Right.
Because again, I was there from 80 through 84. I came in with 5 guys, and I think Freddie and I were the last 2 Mohicans. And, I remember Soul Night. And Soul Night, Soul Night was on a Sunday of all nights. But it was like, can't miss. It was Soul Train. My gear was a little limited, so I came with what I could, but that was so impactful and so important. I just want to share those stories going forward. So yeah, much appreciation.
You mentioned a couple of words that stood out for me when you were talking earlier. You said organic and flow. And then Wendy mentioned the Black Alumni Council, which is a new thing at Georgetown. I'd like her to speak a little bit about that, the coming together of the teaming together, rather, the Georgetown African American Advisory Board and the Black Alumni Summit.
Okay. This is all my opinion. I'm going to start off with that. Okay. This is the opinion. You should say that.
Let me just interject for those people who are listening, not class of 91, who do not know what her government name Wilkes. She has lots of opinions and is not afraid to express them.
And to have that coming from Markham, you already know. Right?
Okay. The Black Alumni Council, let me just give the definition of it right in a second, will be the first affinity alumni group for Georgetown University. I can't even explain how huge that is. Since 1789, Georgetown has made it their mission to say that a Hoya is a Hoya. There will be no definition, race, creed, color, gender, anything, until about 5 years ago. Soul Hoya started in 2009 And again, we came together as a family. We came together so that we can, you know, to grow our family and to discuss our experiences at Georgetown, because being a Hoya is unique, you know, and being a Black Hoya is very unique. So there aren't that many of us, and we wanted to come together to fellowship and get to know each other and community service and whatnot. For approximately 5 or 6 years, we were completely rogue. Nobody cared what we did from the university, that we were not acknowledged, but we did it anyway. We piggybacked on reunion. We had our Soul Hoya events, and they grew and they grew. Willie will tell you, initially there weren't that many people. Then, you know, we grew and grew. Then we started talking about the Patrick Healy dinner, because that was the only other Black thing that we knew what was going on. So the Soul Hoyas was like, if you're coming here, you gotta go there. So we started to funnel people and, you know, help grow the Patrick Healy dinner. And once these balls started rolling, the university started to take notice. I got calls, you know, would you mind sharing your list? Can we get in the program? Oh, no, we can't do that. But can you share your list? Absolutely not. You know, you have lists, you know who you are. Secondly, it's interesting, you know, we would like your list still, but you know, how much money? No, you know, again, we're not recognized by you and have pretty much been ignored by you. So leave us alone, pretty much. Then the Black Alumni Summit came into being. The Black Alumni Summit is subsidized and extolled by Georgetown to a more of an extent than the Patrick Healy dinner, which is older. So again, the wonderful dynamic class of 91 was at the helm of that. That's Eric Woods and Tammy. So, I'm sorry?
Tammy Thompson.
Oh yeah, Tammy Thompson, yeah. And the thing is, we've all known each other since 10th grade. So it's not like, you know, we just met at Georgetown. So as these balls were rolling, we as in Black alum, not just the Soul Hoyas here, but we as Black alum were recognized for the magnificence that we carry. You know, and not only are we magnificent, we're proactive, we're able to get things done. And the bottom line for Georgetown is, you know, some of us have cash. So the Black Alumni Council came to be. We teamed up with the African American Advisory Board, the Black Alumni Summit leadership, and also leadership, Conan Louis, Gail Louis from way back, Tyree. You know, we all came together to brainstorm how and what this entity should look like. And through 2 years of work, 2 years of having frank discussions, 2 years of showcasing how important Black alumni are right now and will be in the future to the history of Georgetown University, the Black Alumni Council will be born and birthed July 1st.
Beautiful.
This council will be made up of leaders from those groups initially, and then as terms expire, we have rules and everything to incorporate people, sort of like the structure of the Board of Regents. So this is a big deal. Because of this, you know, we have seats at tables. Because of this, you know, we may be able to steer directions of professorships. We may be able to steer curriculum incentives. We may be able to steer a lot of things that impact Black students at Georgetown.
Now, Wendy, you
This is huge.
sitting at the table, and I think that's an important thing. And I just want to mention, I mentioned this, I don't think he will mind, but Tyree Jones, former chair of the African American Advisory Board was at one time
Okay, this is par for the course with Markham losing audio. Can you hear me, Markham? You are losing audio. This is the voice of OG.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
keep that volume because you trail off.
These microphones are killing me. I gotta get a better microphone. I was saying, you mentioned Tyree, former chair of the African American Advisory Board, and he was at one time a member of an organization called NOPE, which I believe started from law students, and that stood for Not One Penny Ever. And I mentioned him to say that, you know, I know a lot of people might not have had the best experience, you know, during their 4 years as an undergrad or as a grad student. But I think we should strive to change so that those who come after us can have a better experience. And Tyree went from being a member of NOPE to being chair of the African American Advisory Board, and now he's a member of the board of directors.
Right.
So I just want to, I think he is an excellent example of what can happen when you're willing, when both sides are willing to come together and work a little bit. And Willie, I know that you have chaired the Patrick Healy dinner with the African American Advisory Board. Could you talk a little bit about that and that experience and what the Patrick Healy dinner represents?
Sure thing. Thanks for that. And yeah, I'm chairing, co-chairing. This event is again the premier fundraising event for the African American Advisory Board, but also to raise scholarships for students. But it's a chance to recognize with a Halsey Award, who was one of the first African American, one of the first Black alumni, and just showcasing what it took for him to graduate. But this is an opportunity to showcase alumni and what they've accomplished post Georgetown. And so this dinner has been running, I want to say, for the last 20 plus years. I should know the actual number, but great way again that the university recognizes and puts some dollars in to make sure that it's got the right stamp from a Georgetown perspective, and then we do our own thing. But in recognizing our own. So happens every year, MLK weekend. It's a big gala, big dinner. We do ask you to spend a little money, but it's for a great cause. Again, scholarship, as well as recognizing some of our classmates and or people that you had no idea what type of excellence has come through Georgetown. I mean, it's
Right.
just, if you look at the list of awardees, people have done some amazing things for not only Georgetown, but for the country and how they've served. So that's what Patrick Healy dinner is. And we definitely want people to come back for that. But yeah, that I'll leave it there.
And having attended many Patrick Healy dinners, I just plan that, you know, I know Martin Luther King weekend, that's where I'm going to be, you know, and there's no place I'd rather be. It's just a beautiful celebratory event for us, you know, and there is nothing like it. The audience is beautiful. The kids are beautiful. And like Willie said, the things that people have done in their lives and for others, you know, we don't celebrate each other enough for that. So the Patrick Healy dinner is one of my favorite events. You know, Soul Hoya is first, but Patrick Healy is close.
So I was just going to say that. So
Let me ask,
I was
But
just
see, work for the Patrick Healy dinner. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do any work. Like my house isn't filled with boxes for that. But you know.
so Wendy, I'm glad you brought Soul Hoya back into it.
Me too.
Because I was thinking about, you mentioned that the first T-shirt said "We are Georgetown too," and I was looking at the logo you have now with Soul Hoya, and I'm just curious. I might be dating myself a little bit, but I want to know if you contacted Don Cornelius to use that font. I just got to know that.
Woohoo!
So now he's really.
And that's your classmate,
I
Wendy.
can't contact him now, you know, unless it's through a seance. So
That's your classmate, Wendy.
No, but how that actually came about, because another thing I like to call our Soul Hoya family are the super friends, you know, because anything that you need, you can get through the Soul Hoya connection. And we ran a contest actually for a creation of a new logo. You know, once we, you know, grew up from the, you know, trying to be militant with the Georgetown 2 to realizing that that's not the right direction. So we had a contest and actually won a Soul Hoya, Danny Jackson, her brother designed our logo. He was the winner of that, Michael Blumenthal. And we've rocked that new Don Cornelius, maybe approved, maybe a not look Soul Hoya logo set.
So I think that's cool. That brings us to Soul Hoya weekend, which is coming up, which is upon us. And we'll let Willie speak to it second because we know he's gonna be there. But Wendy, if you could tell us a little bit about what the weekend's like, what the expected turnout is, and maybe of some previous.
Well, I'm just gonna say this. You know, sometimes you can't really have an expected turnout because people wait till the last minute to do things. So that's the preface to that. But we have a lot of events planned this year. This year is special because we are the soft opening for the Black Alumni Council, and we are celebrating the launch on Friday at 5:30 at the Alumni House. So the Soul Hoyas are sponsoring this event where we will be able to talk about the Black Alumni Council, give information on both the Soul Hoyas and the Black Alumni Council, and just, you know, celebrate this huge event. You know, and I keep using that word huge because I think it's funny, but this is something unprecedented at Georgetown.
Will you be Zooming this? Will there be virtual love? Will you be streaming this?
Had not thought about it until you just said that. So I will contact.
I'm gonna need that, Wendy. Old man gonna need that.
Old man gonna need that. Look, I might go live a little bit, but as far as Zoom, I'm not sure. I don't. You know, I have enough stuff on my plate, but I'm gonna see if I can ask somebody who could do that, if they would be willing to. But I'll promise you a Zoom. I mean, a live. I'll promise you that.
Even if it's a low key IG live, I'll take that.
I'll promise you that.
I want to experience it as much as I can on some level.
Yeah, I'll promise you that. And Jack will be there for this reception. And for those listening, there will be food and nice cold drinks at this event. And that's from 5:30 till 8. And immediately following that, at our host hotel, which is the Hampton Inn downtown, we will have our memories mixer. That has been something that we've had since year 2, where we all just get together, have a couple cocktails or not, and just love on each other, check out, you know, what's been happening with you in the last year. You know, you meet new people. That's kind of like the pre-party to the big party on Saturday. Saturday morning, we are partnering with the Georgetown men's basketball alumni to for our community service event. Our community service event is at Calvert. I will actually, I'm not that technologically savvy, but he's just sending me a note.
I'll do it old school.
No. I just sent her a note.
So we have, but I will list the schedule of events on the Facebook page of and the Instagram pages for Soul Hoyas, and tag Hoya Hoop Club and everyone else, so you can see, Hoya Locker Room, so you can see what the schedule is. So after the community service project, we have a photo. We take a yearly photo of our Soul Hoya group on Haley Steps, and that's promptly at 2:30, which means 2:45. And then we attend the CMEA reception in ICC, and our party, Soul Night, the climax and the pinnacle of this weekend.
Not on the Sunday night.
No, it's on a Saturday night because we have to recover on that Sunday, so now we can't be doing that anymore. Will be at the Hoya co-owned gathering spot in Washington, D.C. At 10 p.m. on Saturday night. And if anyone still wants to register, we still have room. And I would prefer you register prior to the day, because again, this is, there's a lot of prep work that goes into this. So you can find out that information on the Soul Hoya page on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And there's more, but y'all don't need to know the after party stories.
Happens at the after party.
What
Days
is
at the after party.
Wendy, what is the Instagram?
The Instagram is Soul Hoya Alumni Group.
Soul Hoya Alumni. Beautiful.
Yes. Soul Hoya _ but if you put Soul Hoya in there, it should pop up.
So what are you guys, we always like to find out what people are up to now. Willie mentioned the list of honorees that have received the Housing Award, but also I think very importantly, Wendy, you mentioned that it doesn't matter what you're doing, like you don't care about that. One thing I have to say that you haven't said, and I'm actually shocked. I've heard you talking about the 3 different organizations on many occasions, and you give a very cool description of those 3 things, and you call Soul Hoya. Well, I'll just let you give yours, because I know you know what
You're talking about the 5 tenets. That's what you're talking about, the 5 tenets?
No, I want to hear those 2. The 5 tenets are excellent, but you talk about Soul Hoya, Georgetown University African American Advisory Board, and Black Alumni Summit as kind of 3 different things. So,
yes. Okay. Yes, and I'm shocked I hadn't brought that up either. So yes. Okay. As I have stated, the Soul Hoyas are a family, and that's how we see each other. And as many Black families have in history, there has been a family reunion. And in that family reunion, there's a structure for that family reunion. So the African American Advisory Board is kind of like the planning committee. They're the ones that get together and, chat it up. The Black Alumni Summit is the business meeting. All they care about is what you could do, what we can get, and how it's going to work.
Bring me the loot.
And the Soul Hoya is the reunion. This is where the love is shown. This is where we don't care about any of all that other stuff. We just want to fellowship, love on each other, ask about your family, help with anything that you need. It's more of that kind of vibe, but there's, and that goes toward the 5 tenets. There's something for everybody. Some people aren't the party people, I happen to be one of those. Well, in moderation, because I'm old now, And I feed off of that energy of just joy and happiness and love, you know. But there are some people who feed off the energy of, I'm a CEO and I want to meet another CEO, you know. So there's energy for everybody. So as a Black alum, there are 5 things to consider. And I'm going to go in date order and not in importance order necessarily. But the first thing is why did I draw a blank on you, Willie? Why? The first, Patrick Healy dinner, because that's in January. So we're starting off chronologically in January. Every Black alum, if you cannot go to the Patrick Healy, should support the Patrick Healy dinner in some manner. Time, talent, treasure. Second is Soul Hoya weekend. Again, that's the fun weekend. If you can't support the Soul Hoyas, or if you can't attend the Soul Hoyas, time, talent, treasures. The third thing is the Black Alumni Summit. That is every other year. It's coming up this October, and it's going to be a great event. That planning has been underway, and I'm sure that Eric and Manon, Tammy is not a co-chair anymore. Manon Butler is. They're working out that to be an excellent event, because that will actually be the first event under the Black Alumni Council. We should be able to support that. I forgot the John Carroll weekend, which is usually in April. We also should be able to support that in some sort of way. And again, it's about time, talent, treasures. And lastly, and most importantly, we should all be Loyalty Society members. And to be a Loyalty Society member with Georgetown, you just have to give consistently. I don't know how many years it is. Is it 2 or 3 years before you can be considered loyalty, Willie? How many is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just 2, but yeah, then you get other badges as you get to 5.
Right,
and 10,
you get higher. So the more often you give, and I'm stressing often, because the amount is pretty much immaterial. I like to tell Soul Hoyas that $17.89, which is a number that we all know is important because that's the founding year of Georgetown University. If you can start off giving $17.89 during these pushes, blue and gray day, your class, you know, during those times they have class run-ups on see how many people, you know, can give during that time. If you just write a check, Georgetown contacts you every now and then to donate monies. If you could just give at any point, that goes towards your giving, no matter what the amount is. Some people give a lot, some people give $17.89, but it's not the quantity, it's the consistency. And that's just like with anything. So the more that we give as a collective, the more seats open up to us at these tables, the more we can make our wishes, dreams, desires known, and the more people will listen. So those 5 things are the tenets of Soul Hoya membership.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm trying to get.
I'm trying to share the screen with Markham.
No, I want you to share. What I want you to do is enable screen share.
You challenging me over here, and it's not necessary. like you see, Wendy doing too much. See, you see. So
Right, well,
you're gonna have to say that for a later date, because I'm gonna stop share right now. That's what I'm gonna do.
Stop share. I was on the Soul Hoya page and I was gonna pull it up. I had that, but
Okay.
We don't. As Mr. Smith has mentioned, his tech support is not here.
That's all right. Look, I've been a little busy, so I haven't had time to, you know, go over everything that's on that page. There's some outdated information, like African American and Black, you know. So there are things that need to be fixed up on that, and I'll try to have that done in the next month or so.
Cool.
But
I know we're coming up on an hour. I know that's what you're about to say.
I know you know what I'm about to say, so let me say it. So, what I do want to say, we had Frank Chiato and Mark Guerrero on, and there are two people that give a lot of their time and a lot of their energy to the university. And, I gave them their flowers. I just want to make sure that I give you two your flowers and thank you for continuing to make things happen. Because again, it's normal, it's organic, it's real. Your treasures, we really, really appreciate you, because we know this is not your day job. I mean, you have careers, you have families, you have things to do, and this give back is real, and you're a source of inspiration for someone like myself. So just know what we do at Hoya Locker Room. You led the way. You kicked in the door. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. So I just wanted to get that out.
So you mentioned the day job, Gene. And what I'd asked before, I was trying to find out what Willie and Wendy are doing today.
Yeah, so appreciate that. Yeah, on my end, I am a senior wealth lending advisor, or private banker, I guess is probably the easiest way to describe it, with TD Bank. Been in the wealth management space for the last 20 plus years.
I
but
am
with that,
so glad that I asked that question, because now I have a follow-up, and it's very
yes,
simple.
sir.
You're not even gonna let him finish.
I don't need to. I'm gonna let him finish, but
As long as it doesn't start with bit and
ask a
coin,
question.
but go ahead.
I need to ask the question.
Say it again, Willie.
Yeah, I say that again. I didn't hear that.
As long as it doesn't start with bit and end with coin, but go ahead.
Yes. Oh, not at all.
Good.
I'm
good.
so
good.
excited to hear you say what you're doing, because I simply want to ask, can you lend me some wealth? That's all I want to know. Lend me some wealth.
Right. Now that I can do. I can definitely lend other people's money and other banks' money. No doubt. No doubt. But I'm glad you brought that up. I did have a chance at the last Black Alumni Summit. I spoke on one of the panels and talking about wealth, and it's a discussion that we, even in this group, certainly need to talk more about, and certainly willing to come back on. I'm sure my other co-panelist, Brother Blackman, would love to come on as well, just to talk about people that the money we're making a lot more money than our parents did. Some of us are keeping it better than others, and we need to have a plan. Some of us are also in a position where we can pool money and do some other things jointly together. And who knows, if we all really get this thing together, we could turn this collective into some kind of an investment vehicle for all of us, and generational wealth could be built. So there's lots of that discussion and opportunity, but it starts with thinking about finance differently than we have previously, and protecting and preserving that wealth so that we can grow it and leave it for future generations.
Well, you said you're willing to come back on. I can tell you that me and Gene are gonna hold you to that.
Yes, sir.
You open the door.
Yes, sir. You open the door. The door you cannot put Pandora back in the box. You got it.
No doubt.
Well, as for me and my ringing house phone, I apologize for that. I don't know if everybody knows this, but I was really sick for a long time, and Willie actually helped save me at one point.
I was just about to say,
reunion.
There are rumors on the street that if you come to people that are on the fence about going to Soul Hoya, if you go to Soul Hoya, you just might get your life saved. That's all I'm gonna say about
that. And Willie's gonna be there. Facts.
And Willie will do it. Look, he not only manages wealth, but he manages me, which is worse. So yes. But But no, God puts people in places where they should be when they should be there. So I just want to thank Willie again. Short synopsis of that story. I was in kidney failure. I had lupus that destroyed my kidneys. And 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, I was blessed to receive a kidney transplant. So I feel great. I look great. I am great. So everything about that is great. But prior to that, Willie, Lisa, and I were out coming back from, I think it might have been coming back from a community service event.
We were still there. We were still there. Yep.
Oh, yes, we were still there. And I forgot to take my medicine. So I was like, well, let me take my medicine. And in my haste, I took all of it at one time. And anybody who knows with these chronic illnesses, sometimes you take 4 pills, sometimes you take 40, you just never know. I choked on those medications, like literally choked. Lisa and Willie got in my car. Lisa was driving. Willie was, trying to help me get my throat, opened up. And we finally got past that part. And Willie went to several places and got me some baby lollipops. I just threw the last one of those away to soothe my throat because I couldn't, it had scratched my tracheus, from taking that medicine all at one time. So Willie is near and dear to my heart for a lot of reasons. That's probably not even the top reason, but yeah, Soul Hoya can save your life. That's
this is family. That's right.
Family. So right now, as far as what I'm doing, the short snippy answer is what I want. Once my life was saved by a transplant, and I realized that I needed to truly, unabashedly be me, that's what I've been doing. It's been a pleasure to be able to give the time necessary to make sure that the Black Alumni Council came together, to make sure that Soul Hoya lives on, and to give myself to others. In the future, I do cook. I have been a personal chef. I do all of those things, but I'm not sure if that's the direction that I'm going to take the rest of my journey on. I really want to be an inspirational person for others. No matter what space, no matter if it's because you were sick, now you're feeling better, you want to say your testimony, or just because you don't have to hide yourself for anybody. And when you are the person that God has designed you to be, everything flows in your direction. So that's my last word for today.
I can't think of a better
Amen.
way. Yeah, amen. Hey, I say amen. See, this is what happens when you rock with Soul Hoya. You're gonna get an amen.
Right.
You're gonna get an amen. There's just a couple of things I want to touch on before we let you guys go, because we do appreciate your time on a Sunday, and we just went over an hour, and we definitely don't want to take advantage of your time, but we just want to thank you. The first thing is Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone that's out there, to those who serve, to those who do public service. We thank you. Probably should have started with that, but just wanted to echo that. And again, I wanted to give another shout out to the class of 91, because we have had 7 guests on our show from the class of 91. You two make 8 and 9. And that just speaks to, I just think, all the things that Soul Hoya represents, because you gotta get back on some level. And those, what was it, talent, treasure, and
time, talents, and treasures.
Yeah, that's you're an inspiration, Wendy. Willie, thank you for your time, your service. You're an inspiration because, again, you're there, you're showing up. And that's the most important thing. You got to show up. So again, I just wanted to, I'll end with that. Again, your time has been valuable, and things are rolling. The momentum's there, and I look forward to being a part of it.
Right. And I just want to thank Keith Dent. I can't leave him out. I want to thank him for putting up with me, but without him, a lot of this stuff, wouldn't go as smoothly as it has. So thank you, Keith.
Right. And I'll thank both of you gentlemen for your wherewithal and steadfastness with this platform.
Mhm.
Stay with it. It's important. People are noticing, people are looking for you, to continue with your voices. So continue strength to you, and keep doing it. It's our pleasure, certainly, to keep coming and letting folks know what other opportunities are out there. But when we can come together, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. Yes.
I gotta say, I really appreciate you saying
No
that. Not
problem.
always easy. Be frustrated.
We can't hear you, hon.
I said I appreciate you saying that because it's not always easy and can be frustrating sometimes.
Mhm.
Going behind the scenes with doing the show. I just want to close this out. Wendy, you said Gene was saying he was jealous of Willie for having been there. It came to me, and I wrote this down, so we're gonna close out with a quote from me. You can't get to where you want to go unless you start moving from where you are.
Facts.
And I encourage everybody,
Facts.
encourage everybody who can to go to Soul Hoya, because I can guarantee you one thing. It's gonna be a stone gas, honey.
That's right. Love, peace, and
So
soul.
Been the best show ever. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Soul Hoya family. I look
No
forward to
doubt.
seeing you all soon in person.
Yep.
Much love. Much love.
Much love. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Peace.
Peace.